Tonight, Don Nelson begins his third season as head coach of the Golden State Warriors with high hopes and great expectations. The Warriors, a team building on the nucleus of all-star Chris Mullin, plus one of the premier backcourts in the NBA, Tim Hardaway and Mitch Richmond. But their first test of the season against Paul Westhead's wild and wacky fast-break run-and-gun offensive system as the Westhead era begins in Denver. It's the season opener, the Warriors versus the Nuggets, and it's next.
This is McNichols Arena in Denver, Colorado. Nestled at the base of the Rocky Mountains, but still 5,280 feet above sea level. It's known as the Mile High City, also for its early autumn snowfalls like we had in Denver all day long. It's also known for the thin air they've had and proved to be a headache for visiting teams in the NBA.
Very dramatic setting here in Denver, Colorado. The snow is falling outside, but here inside McNichols Arena, very warm and cozy. It's the first of 4 meetings between the Warriors and the Nuggets. Let's check out the starting lineups and matchups for tonight's first game of the 90-91 campaign. For the Golden State Warriors at the forwards, Chris Mullin and Tom Tolbert. At center will be Alton Lister, and in the backcourt, Tim Hardaway and Mitch Richmond. And they'll be matched up thusly. T.R. Dunn, Orlando Woolridge, and Blair Rasmussen up front for Paul Westhead's Denver Nuggets. Michael Adams and Todd Lichty in the backcourt. Of course, the big story for the Denver Nuggets is the absence of Chris Jackson as Don Nelson shakes hands with Paul Westhead. Chris Jackson will miss the first 5 games because of side effects from medication. Jackson suffers from Tourette's syndrome. And Don Nelson looking to snap a personal 9-game losing streak at McNichols Arena.
No wonder he wants to forget the past.
Yes.
But you know, you talk about those matchups. We talked earlier in the day. In this game, folks, there are really no matchups because it's going to be run and gun, and you're going to see a lot of different players on a lot of different people.
And we are underway. The officials, Paul Mihalik, Bernie Fryer, and Woody Mayfield. The Warriors setting up. And Mitch Richmond losing the handle. Theoretically, the center takes the ball out after every opposing basket, with Denver no exception. The center instantly passes to the point guard every time, as you saw. The shooting guard and small forward sprint up the wings. The power forward trails the point guard up the floor, and a quick shot ensues. And here come the Warriors. Still no score. 30 seconds in. Tom Tolbert breaks the seal on the season for the Golden State Warriors. Back comes Denver. Here's Blair Rasmussen. Likes to pump from outside.
Well, he's a perfect trailer for this ball club. He doesn't have the speed of anybody on the court. Probably the slowest guy out there, but he trails the play and he can shoot from 20, and he's a 7-footer.
A dangerous shooter when he is on. So tied at 2, almost a minute in. Hardaway swings it inside to Richmond. Into deep. Rasmussen over to Adams. And quickly down floor come the Nuggets. Here's Todd Lichty. Long rebound, Orlando Woolridge, and Woody Mayfield on the outside calling a loose ball foul.
Interesting, they're going to call on Orlando for pushing off. He had control of the basketball, but as he wheeled to make a spin move to the hoop, and he's questioning the call.
A very unpopular call here. Woolridge upset. So we are tied at 2 as Lister gets it into Tom Tolbert, and he'll bring it across. Mitch Richmond, in his 3rd year out of Kansas State, really played solid defensively down the stretch of preseason. And Tom Tolbert hits again. So it's Tom Tolbert 4 and the Nuggets 2. Here's Adams, watched by Hardaway. Adams getting the step on Hardaway. And Lister yanks it down. Alton Lister looking impressive in the preseason. Missed most of last season with a ruptured Achilles tendon. Tom Tolbert on fire.
He's 3 for 3. It looks like the Warriors right now are playing the Paul Westhead offense, and it looks like Denver is slowing it down a little bit. They've taken their time in their half-court sets.
The Denver Nuggets gave up close to 164 points a game in the preseason. T.R. Dunn connects.
There's a guy with a career average of 5.1. 14th season, a defensive player, but Hardaway end to end.
Blistering speed by Tim Hardaway as he just blazed his way through everybody. And it's 8-4 Warriors. Here's Michael Adams now, and he's fouled by Hardaway. And that is number 1 on Tim Hardaway. Perhaps the most important element going into this particular ball game is Warriors conditioning coach Mark Rabo, as he tried to get the club ready for this one.
Yeah, I think it'd be very difficult for any one player to go a full quarter once this thing heats up. You're going to see a lot of people from the bench, but I think that's one of the strengths of the Warriors this year. They do have some depth.
Lichty off the cut. Back to Dunn. Rebounded by Lister. He looks down floor, goes the short route to Hardaway. This is Richmond. And he barrels in and slices his way through, plus the foul. Super move by Richmond.
What made this such a nice move is he took the ball off the dribble from a long distance. So what he did is made Lichty wave at him. Watch this. Picks it up there. Lichty, instead of moving his feet, did not get good defensive position. That's just a great offensive move by a guy who knows what he's doing when he goes to the hoop.
Richmond with a three-point play. It's 11-4 Golden State. And a whistle by Bernie Fryer underneath. Alton Lister, who is prone to fouls.
Woolridge goes to the line for 2. And you get the scouting report on Orlando. What he does best is go to the basket. So you want him to try to end up with a 20-foot shot and dare him to take it. And if he does drive, you want to force him to the left. They did everything right that time, but they bailed him out with a foul. It's awful difficult to stop when he goes one-on-one coming at you. He's such a great leaper.
Runs the floor well, vital in this type of offense. Owns the prototype power forward body, but stepping in at Alex English's small forward spot. English now with the Dallas, along with Pat Lever. Phil Hanslick out with a bad back. A real rebuilding process this year for the Nuggets. Here's Chris Mullin, the southpaw. And it goes out of bounds. Warriors possession.
You know, one thing about Tolbert, you've seen him bring the ball up several times to break the press. Quite an advantage for a big guy when he can handle the ball.
Near steal by Woolridge. Mullin with the fake. Bodied up by T.R. Dunn. The help out by Rasmussen. Now here's Lister. In a cluster, Mullin on the give back to Lister. Good hands by T.R. Dunn. This is Adams. Lichty on the wing. The pull-up. And a loose ball foul on Chris Mullin. He and T.R. Dunn colliding. Dunn went down.
Textbook offense for Denver because they got the ball in Adams' hands, and this is where Lichty loves to go, right to the baseline, right to the corner. That's his shot. He's missed them both thus far tonight. There you see the reach over the back by Mullin.
Warriors by 6, 8:35 remaining in the first. Here's Michael Adams slithering through for the scoop.
Hardaway cannot afford to go for the steal. You're not going to strip the ball from Michael Adams. You got to get back and play defense position.
And Mullin with a quick reply at the other end. That's his first field goal, of course. He's the first player to lead the Warriors in scoring and rebounding since Nate Thurman back in the middle 60s. It'll be Denver ball. 8:09 remaining in the first quarter. Mullin on the rebound. This is Hardaway straight down the middle. Tom Tolbert on the wing, plus the foul. Nice pass by Hardaway as Tolbert ran the floor well.
Yeah, Lichty picks up his second foul, too. Yeah, here's what I'm talking about. Good decisions in the open court. Hardaway gives it to the bigger man, Tolbert, who had the angle. He had Richmond on the left, could have picked his spots. Tolbert had a little step to the basket. Lichty, bad play, just should have backed away, give him the layup.
Tom Tolbert 4 for 4 from the floor. You see his numbers in the preseason. 15-7 Warriors' biggest lead. Woolridge with the stutter step, off balance shot, and the follow slam by Rasmussen. Sixth year out of Oregon. You vaguely remember that school.
Yeah, he followed in my footsteps. Took care of all the records I left, which weren't many.
Mullin wide open. No defense there. I heard you.
That's what I'm saying. You get in the open court, you will get shots on this team.
Adams off balance, doesn't get the roll. And the Warriors crashing the boards. Hardaway. Nice steal by Ty Lichty. Diagnosed that pass well. Adams for three. And Rasmussen with the offensive rebound. And now we go end to end, Jim. Here's Chris Mullin with the crossover and looking to feed off, and he got nailed. Blair Rasmussen with his first.
You know, Rasmussen, not really a power player, doesn't like the inside contact, but that's a tremendous follow-up a moment ago, and he followed up once more, almost got another hoop. Now here's Mullen. He sees Michael Adams on him, so he wants to take him to the basket. Now Adams does a smart thing. He goes away, but the body contact, the heads-up play by Mullen, just coming back into Blair.
Substitution, Avery Johnson replacing Michael Adams. Avery Johnson, in his third year out of Southern University, made an immediate impact. Traded to Denver from Seattle as Mullen hits both, and it's 19-11 Warriors.
Yeah, no rest for Tim Hardaway. Take out Adams and put in another speedster.
P.R. Dunn unable to connect, and now they're going the other way. A loose ball foul.
And Rasmussen has now picked up. That's his second.
And keep in mind, he is Denver's only true center. Walter Davis, the 14-year veteran out of North Carolina, age 36. Denver's top returning scorer at the age of 36, replacing Orlando Woolridge, who didn't score. This the case with the departure of Fat Lever and Alex English, as you get a good look at Alton Lister, 80% foul shooter during the preseason. The Warriors, as a team, third in the league from the line last year, 81%.
I know it's early, but the 150 watch, it's about at 164 points if the Warriors continue at this pace.
We'll keep an eye on that. Blair Rasmussen from deep.
Doesn't he have a nice release for a big man? How about for any man?
Nice soft touch. He has 4 field goals, 8 points. And it's 19-13 Warriors, 6:50 remaining in the first. Now some pressure by the Nuggets. Hardaway gets it across to Richmond. Good fake by Richmond. Ball out of bounds. Let's see whose ball. They're giving it to the Warriors. And a timeout for the Nuggets. 6:45 remaining in the first. It's the Warriors 19, the Nuggets 13. We'll be back. We apologize for the audio difficulty. The problem is Jim just keeps yanking the plug out, right?
I'm putting the tape in. You know, something, tape, athletic tape, it's a wonder. It solves all kinds of problems. Heals the ankles.
Meanwhile, through it all, Denver just tied it up. Tied at 43, just underway in the second. Steve Albert, Jim Barnett, and Steve Physiok here in the season opener, Denver, Colorado. Tim Hardaway. Pretty move. Everything but the hoop. And Steve Johnson working hard underneath and drawing the foul.
That'll take Blair Rasmussen out of the game because I think that is his 4th personal foul. Well, they're putting 3 up there. You're right, Steve.
Number 3 on Rasmussen.
But Steve Johnson making his presence felt already. Inside.
Rasmussen down to Avery Johnson. Nice trailing move by Woolridge.
That's why your takeaway is right. He gets all the way to the hoop.
9 points for the Notre Dame standout Orlando Woolridge. And the Nuggets take their first lead. Steve Johnson, who played only 1 preseason game, strong effort. Steve Johnson, you know where the Warriors are really excelling tonight? On the offensive boards. And now here's a foul at the other end as Davis hits from afar. And Rod Higgins got the foul.
Walter Davis goes to his spots on the floor. And did he give Steve Johnson a pump fake? Steve goes by, ends up near the bench. Higgins picks up the slack, but once again, that's the second time he's hit a guy in the wrist. Earlier in the first quarter, it was Blair Rasmussen. Now Walter Davis does not complete the 3-point play.
47-45 Denver. Boy, Davis has looked sharp off the bench.
It's amazing for his age. He still has those tremendous legs, getting himself up and down the court.
Steve Johnson using his muscle underneath, looking most impressive. turns 33 tomorrow. An unrestricted free agent who's signed to a one-year deal.
And he has one of the best drop steps in the NBA.
Tied at 47. Tim Hardaway into the front court with Avery Johnson. Nifty move. And Johnson storming in for the follow, but the ball goes out of bounds to the Nuggets. Joe Wolf will check back in. Boy, I tell you, you just can't look down for a second. Sarunas Marciulionis is back in. And Mitch Richmond will take a seat for the Warriors, leads with 2 points. Here's Johnson. The dip to Wolf, guarded by Mullen, who apparently is all right. Good hands by Chris Mullen, but Wolf recovers. And then T.R. Dunn. Good hands by Marciulionis. And the ball trickles out of bounds, but Bernie Fryer calling it on Sarunas Marciulionis. That's his third.
You can see it's pretty chaotic inside, Steve, because you've got guys switching. Guys are cutting through all the time on offense. You lose your man, you give help in Don Nelson's system. So a lot of times people get to offensive rebounds just because you don't have balance.
T.R. Dunn in his 14th year. 35 years old, but perhaps in better shape than anybody on the Nuggets and anybody at this table. T.R. Dunn. The T.R. standing for Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah, Theodore Roosevelt.
There you go. Denver by 2. Marciulionis. Don Nelson wanted a foul on the Nuggets. No call. Here's Michael Adams. Corner to Davis. Marciulionis down on one knee. Was he playing defense or praying?
Mock prayer.
Rod Higgins sneaks in. Good move by Higgins. Has 7 off the bench, and it's tied at 49. Woolridge using his muscle plus the foul. We'll see that all night.
Just so tough to guard once he catches the ball. Has the dribble in his hand inside the top of the key. Watch how he trails the play. Right there. Now he takes that one dribble, and he can just get all the way to the basket. He starts from 19 feet away, ends up one dribble at the basket.
And Jim, Steve Fizioc is standing by. Steve?
And Steve, Coach Don Nelson was saying taking care of the basketball is one of the keys to beating the Denver Nuggets. They forced 112 turnovers in 8 preseason games. They have the advantage in this game 9-1. They've turned the ball over just one time. Paul Westhead, Jim Barnett was saying, pressure the lanes, not the basketball.
Yeah, they really play the passing lanes very well. That's why Don Nelson was talking about spacing on the court, Steve. If you crowd together, one man can defend 2.
And Jim, off the aggressive move by Joe Wolf, he picks up his second. Marciulionis struggling at the line, missing 2. 52-49, the Nuggets with their biggest lead. 9:14 to go in the half. Michael Adams. Oh, he is something. Quick.
Never went anywhere with a move, just a 360, and then comes up with a jump shot.
Here's a guy who, before coming to Denver, was cut 3 times, bounced around, really found a home here. T.R. Dunn with the reach in on Marciulionis.
You tend to underestimate the speed of Marciulionis coming down. He's a lot quicker than his body looks. And T.R. Dunn, one of the best defenders in the league, has twice been All-NBA defensive team, just bodies him to the sideline.
We might not get the high watermark in scoring this year. We might set the record for fouls called. Here's Chris Mullen, and he continues to be on fire. 12 points and playing hurt. Nuggets by 3. Cook with the rebound. Anthony Cook, rookie out of Arizona, just checked in. And Rod Higgins pulls it away. Long pass to Mullen, and he is bottled up by little Michael Adams. A couple of former Big East stars. St. John's and Boston College coming together. And so Michael Adams with his first.
You know, there's a guy that nobody really gave much regard for, Michael Adams, as you look at Mullen and what he means to the Warriors. Of course, that's preseason, but you know what he meant last year when he was 4th in the league in scoring, led the team in rebounding. But Michael Adams, a couple of years ago, averaged 18.5 points a game.
And really one of the quickest and fastest guards in the game. Nuggets by 1, 54-53, 8.5 remaining in the first half. 14 for Chris Mullen.
Hardaway wanted to be greedy. He knew he had a steal, but he went out there. If you come up short, then you get beaten to the hoop. but he realized it was such a bad pass. If he'd continued with full momentum, he had a layup.
Tom Tolbert, who already has 6 rebounds, checks in. And Rod Higgins goes out. Tyrone Hill, the rookie, is in there guarding Joe Wolf. Good catch underneath by Dunn. In traffic.
That looked like a football play.
Nuggets by 3. The little pull-up by Chris Mullin. And Chris Mullin has 16 points. He is 6 for 7 from the floor. Michael Adams streaking through, and he lost the ball. 56-55 Nuggets. 8 minutes to go in the half.
Oh, what a beautiful play. Hardaway breaks down 3 or 4 players. Just loses them and gives Mullin uncontested layup.
And Mullin running the floor. Adams for the 3. And Woody Mayfield with a loose ball foul call. And it's on Tyrone Hill of the Warriors. Warriors by 1. Number 2 on Hill.
I guarantee you this is the most fast-paced game Tyrone Hill has ever seen coming out of Xavier of Ohio. Orlando Woolridge back in the game. Who sits down? Cook sits down. I wanted to see him against Tolbert, ex-teammates from Arizona.
Things are going so fast, maybe nobody sits down, nobody will notice. The Nuggets will be on the power play. Here's Joe Wolf with the tip. Wolf with his first field goal. Last 3 years with the LA Clippers, where he said he lost his confidence. The Nuggets by 1. Tyrone Hill blocked by Wolf, and again too aggressive. A foul on Joe Wolf. That's his 3rd. Joe Wolf, a small forward in the center's body, and Woolridge got shaken up.
Yeah, Woolridge took a pass off of his head. Watch this. Marciulionis tries to go through.
Oh.
Whoops. Little pinball action. And look where it caroms to. Hill for 2 at the line.
That looked like Buster Douglas taking a right hand from Evander Holyfield. Tyrone Hill to the line for the first time as a professional. Shot only 55% at the line during the preseason, but Don Nelson very pleased with his work ethic, as he was with Alton Lister getting set to check in. Hill 6'9", 243, gets the bounce. 1 out of 2, and that is his first NBA point. 58-58.
Some questions on Tyrone Hill the first couple of weeks in training camp, but he progressed very rapidly the last 10 days.
Really came on. Adams for 3 with that unorthodox shot put style. By 432 three-pointers last year, made 37%. Marciulionis digging in, and again it's Joe Wolf. That's his 4th. The fans thought he got all ball. So did Joe.
And how often do you see a 3-on-1 coming from the same side? Marciulionis got a nice little screen on the way to the hoop by Tyrone Hill. But the Warriors had 3 players all on the left side, only 1 defender, Joe Wolf.
Marciulionis is now 4 for 6 from the line. Nuggets by 1, 61-60. 7 minutes remaining in the first half. Todd Lichty. Now here's Adams, straight away 3 as he's falling. No call. And a loose ball foul underneath. Wow, what a collision. Lichty got knocked on the head by Lister, but the foul is on Lichty, and that's number 4 on Todd Lichty. Here's a timeout on the floor with 6:46 remaining in the first half. It's Denver 61, Golden State 60. We'll be back. You know, I've noticed that some of the local media here in Denver, as you look at Press Row, have really come down hard on Paul Westhead for his radical approach. But what I find ironic, Jim, is that last year they were belly aching how the Nuggets needed to rebuild, start all over, get rid of the older players, start a youth movement, and get a new system in here. And now that they finally did that, they're not at least giving it a chance. You got to give it some time, you know. You got to forget about the preseason and see if it's a bust in the regular season. Then you can criticize.
Yeah, they've been very hard on Paul Westhead and his system, and they have yet to play a game tonight, opening game.
And it's tied at 61, 6:40 left in the first half.
And how about that article on #1 draft choice Chris Jackson, which doesn't give him and bolster his confidence.
Tom Tolbert. Terrific night. He has 12 points. Tolbert 5 for 6 on the floor. Off the steal, right into the hands of Woolridge, and he got hammered by Alton Lister.
That was not a flagrant foul. We'll explain that as the season goes on, but this could have been called an excessive foul because Lister, even though he went for the ball, watch him get a lot of the body. Now, on a flagrant foul, when they know it's intentional, you have no intention of going for the ball. You're just going to hit the guy, much like you saw Charles Barkley and the Detroit Pistons go at it that way. They will give you 2 shots, possession of the ball, automatic ejection. But with excessive, that could have been ruled. It's a subjective call. Could have been ruled excessive. You get 2 shots and possession, and then, of course, no ejection.
It's a judgment call as they have eliminated the breakaway rule. Mitch Richmond back on hand as Marciulionis takes his seat. It is now 63-62 Warriors, and Richmond paying quick dividends. 11 points for Richmond. Woolridge with the stutter step off the 360, goes to the left hand.
See what they're doing. Alton Lister's just zoning up, and he is actually playing Orlando Woolridge. He is playing the forward, not Blair Rasmussen.
Richmond with the high step dribble. Adams winding up between the legs of Rasmussen. About the only guy on the floor who could do that. Here's Jerome Lane.
See, Tolbert's got Rasmussen. Woolridge, the responsibility right now of Alton Lister.
Very deliberate half-court offense here. Unusual for Paul Westhead's team. Jerome Lane, great pass to Woolridge. What a look away to Woolridge.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Woolridge having a big first half. Warriors by 1. Helter-skelter play now. Woolridge losing the ball, and I think just out of frustration let it go. It is wild now. Even Don Nelson shaking his head. Let's give it over to Steve Mizio. Steve?
And Don Nelson talking about keeping the pressure on offensively. He's saying push the ball up the floor as often as possible. And the coaches really like the play of Alton Lister. He says he's moving well, he's rebounding well, and that Achilles not bothering him at all.
All right, Steve. Mitch Richmond off to Kevin Pritchard. Reverse at the baseline, too strong. Corey Gaines, who played 1 year under Paul Westhead at Loyola Marymount, thought he was fouled by Richmond. Walter Davis with the double clutch. The tip won't go. Jerome Lane battling hard, but Lister comes away with it.
Yeah, he's already made a difference in the first half tonight. Just didn't have that kind of action last year from any big man.
Tom Tolbert with a two-fisted fling. Oh, brother.
How about the step around? He knew Rasmussen had 4 fouls, but that's tremendous body control for him.
Tolbert with 14 points. It's the Warriors by 3. And a whistle by Bernie Fryer.
That's where you don't want to bail out Orlando Woolridge. That's the shot you want him to take. A fadeaway, 18-footer.
Tim Hardaway will check back in, replacing Chris Mullin, who leaves with 18 points, 7 for 8 shooting for Chris Mullin. So Woolridge right back to the line where he's 7 for 10 and has 17 first half points. Orlando Woolridge, who did not make many friends in New Jersey. A couple of years ago when he decided not to remain with the Nets after having some drug problems, and the Nets coach was his cousin, Willis Reed. So he snubbed his own cousin and wound up playing for the LA Lakers. 67-66 Warriors. Here's Kevin Pritchard off the bomb pass. Nicely done.
Yeah, nice pass by Lister.
The Warriors by 3. Here's Corey Gaines. Drills it to the corner, and Walter Davis from afar. 12 points for Davis. Tolbert, who has been dynamite tonight, a little too strong there. Jerome Payne the rebound. Now we go to Corey Gaines. It'll be Denver ball. Well, they just weave and weave and weave till they get close enough for the shot.
And there you see a fatigued Mitch Richmond. Watch him just trail this play. I guarantee you a fresh Mitch Richmond would have been in position. He wasn't in position to stop the penetration, nor was he in position to stop there. He got lucky with the left hand.
Rasmussen on the misfire from deep. Here comes Richmond going coast to coast. Mitch Richmond now has 13, and the Warriors by 3. And within seconds, Liberty Gets the shot off, couldn't hit. Here's Walter Davis on the follow. Walter Davis doing a tremendous job. He has 14.
He still has that lithe body.
And now a whistle against Jerome Lane, and that's his second foul. Warriors by 1, 71-70, with 3:37 remaining in the half. Mitch Richmond will go to the foul line for the Warriors. The first rookie of the year since Jamal Wilkes to improve his scoring average, field goal percentage, and free throw percentage as a second-year pro. Has 14 points.
You think he's working tonight? Look at him.
Corey Gaines now storming ahead with Kevin Pritchard, and they called it on Pritchard. That's his second. Yeah, some teams, you mentioned how Richmond was working, some teams would go as far as keeping oxygen on the bench here in Denver, and I would think you'd need double oxygen now going up against this frantic offense, full court press.
Yeah, with 3:33 left in the half, Steve, score is 72-70. Warriors on top. Last year, I remember being here, and the halftime score was 78-76. And they finally wore on the Warriors, and Denver just literally blew them away in the second half, particularly late in the fourth quarter.
Paul Westhead, some refer to him as a mad scientist. Some say he's from another planet. Outer space ball, ladies and gentlemen. Marciulionis throwing the foul.
Dangerous play. They're passing in a little bit of congestion, but Marciulionis got such great hands and the great strength comes up with it. Had a free shot because he heard the whistle. He could have kind of thrown up anything he wanted there, and he kind of let it go a little quick. What a competitor. What a competitor, though, Steve. This guy just gives it all every second on the court.
He makes them both, and it's 74-72 Golden State, 3:23 and counting in the first half. Marcus Liberty kept alive by Jerome Lane.
Alive and well.
Lane, in his third year out of Pittsburgh, can do it inside. Pritchard from the outside. Back tap to Adams.
What was that? He just wanted to, he thought he got fouled, Michael Adams. That's why he launched one from half court.
Well, that is part of this wild and wacky offense of Paul Westhead. Anything goes.
Well, that was a 40-footer, but he thought he got fouled.
Here's Richmond.
But they ought to take it right at Blair, at Rasmussen. He's got 4 fouls. He's the only protector back. Take it right at him.
Tied at 76. Lane stripped by Richmond. And now the Warriors off to the races. A 2-on-1 Hardaway all the way. Tim Hardaway has 9, and the Warriors bolt into the lead. 2:28 to go in the half. Walter Davis taking the circuitous route. 16 for the Greyhound. Walter Davis tied at 78. Super pass by Hardaway. The fadeaway by Marciulionis won't go. And Michael Adams getting a big screen from Rasmussen.
Hardaway is dragging. I mean, he is so tired. Now he's got Rasmussen. Turn and shoot.
Look at this mismatch. Rasmussen can't connect, and Lister's there for the rebound. Richmond's got it. He flows by Adams, runs into Rasmussen. And the call will be an offensive foul as Rasmussen goes flying. Richmond's second. Timeout being called. 1:44 remaining in the first half. It's Golden State 78 and Denver 78. 78 all. 1:39 remaining in the first half.
There's an astounding stat. Denver with 18 offensive rebounds.
Woolridge, who has had quite a first half, ripped down by Alton Lister.
See, that fast pace just wears you down. You can't even guard people, can't even defend them at the backboard. Hardaway.
Tim Hardaway getting a second wind, and he hits from deep. He has 11. Big step by Woolridge, and the foul.
He's the story in the first half because you see He can run the court. He's big, he's 6'9", and he can get to the basket. Watch what happens here. Just a little trailer, and he loves to come from the top of the key. And as I say, it's such a great leaper. Who defends him? He's already been to the line 12 times tonight. He already has 21 points, and you still have 1:12 in the first half. Orlando Woolridge.
Woolridge exploding to the basket. Yes, he is 9 for 12 from the foul line. Again, we apologize for the video and audio problems that we're experiencing here. Big snowstorm outside contributing to the problems.
Steve, I don't want to be a fatalist, but I'd rather have video and audio problems than engine problems tomorrow on a plane. You know what I mean? In the snow.
I will second that. As the Warriors head to Los Angeles tomorrow, take on the Clippers Sunday. Woolridge with the number 2. What a first half. 22 points for Orlando Woolridge. And to the line, Mitch Richmond for the Warriors. He's 2 for 3, has 16 points. We're seeing some numbers here in the first half, but not unexpected. So 17 for Mitch Richmond. Ball game tied at 81, approaching the 1-minute mark remaining in the half. Adams up the ladder, in and out. It'll be Warriors ball. So the Warriors going with Tyrone Hill, Chris Mullin, Tim Hardaway, Mitch Richmond, and Kevin Pritchard. Small lineup in there for the Warriors. Trying to break the press. They get it across. Here's Hardaway. Wide open. Well, he just lost his man. Hardaway has 13. The Warriors back in the lead. There's your time remaining in the first half. Davis using his rear end, backing his way in. Rebound Richmond. As Pritchard hits the deck, here comes Hardaway. Great move past Adams. Goes up with the left hand. Tim Hardaway.
He's so good when he gets near the basket because he puts the ball up softly. Look out.
Oh, brother. Nearly a spectacular alley-oop by the Nuggets. Woolridge went down hard, but he's all right.
Yeah, he could have been hurt here because he jammed the ball up against the backboard. Watch this. And hit the rim. And that's all of a sudden just like someone rejecting you at the top and pushing you down. He went down hard.
I would never know that feeling, Jim. But many a fantasy. Now, Don Nelson and Paul Mahalik exchanging words. Joe Wolf will inbound. It's 85-81 Warriors. 25 seconds to go in the half. Keep in mind the Warriors' record for most points in the first half is 86. They now have 85. 2-point ball game. Woolridge again has 24. 10 seconds to go. Let's see if the Warriors can break their team record. 3 seconds. Richmond does it. 87. How do you like that? And at the buzzer, the long fling goes awry. That is the end of the first half. And it is a high-scoring affair. The Golden State Warriors, 87. The Denver Nuggets, 83. Don't go away. We'll be back with halftime in a moment. Welcome back to McNichols Arena here in Denver, Colorado. Halftime winding down. Our score, the Warriors 87 and the Nuggets 83. And in case you were wondering, that is an NBA record for most points in a half by two teams, 170. The previous record was 166. Syracuse versus San Francisco. A little bit of irony there. Syracuse 85, San Francisco 81, back on March 10th of 1963. Well, welcome to a brand new halftime record, 170 points. Don Nelson has his troops on the floor, up by 4 points as we get ready for the second half. The first half led by Woolridge with the 24, and Richmond had 19. Chris Mullin had 18 points for the Warriors.
We might note, Steve, that your television screens at home are not dark. That is the lighting in here. They turned off the lights for about 5 minutes, and they have yet to warm up, so it's a little bit dark in here for the players.
You know, you're right. I just noticed that. The outer lighting. Well, they said we'd be coming into the outer limits when the Warriors would be playing the Nuggets, so it's appropriate.
Yeah, and we may have reached the twilight zone.
Yeah. Hardaway with the drive. Tim Hardaway having a big night. He has 17. And the Warriors by 6. Their biggest lead was 9 in the first. The Nuggets' biggest lead 3 in the second. Michael Adams with the scoop, rebounded by Mullen. Mullen twisted his ankle in the early going, but showing no signs.
Alton Lister with a big first half. Tolbert also misses a cripple there, but to start the second half, Steve Johnson. Maybe they want a little bit more offense, but Lister had 10 big rebounds.
Snappy feed to T.R. Dunn, in and out, but the foul. It's an offensive foul as we check some of the halftime stats brought to you by Budweiser. The Warriors shooting 59%, very impressive.
Yeah, the Nuggets only 39%, but you're going to see offensive rebounds later on. The Denver Nuggets had 19 of their 39 rebounds were from the offensive end.
Ball stripped by Chris Mullen, and Mullen all the way, no. Back tap, though, to Tolbert, and Tolbert barrels in. He is stopped by Rasmussen.
Should have given the ball up to Chris.
Lichty from deep corner. A long two for Todd Lichty, his first field goal.
See, those kinds of missed opportunities, Steve, just kill you.
You notice that 1 for 7 on the stat sheet. The ball deflected by Woolridge. Here is Richmond, rejected by Rasmussen.
You see, they keep going at Rasmussen, but he's doing a good job of just holding position, remaining straight. Has not picked up the 5th.
Richmond, oh, he just goes by everybody. Slithers the baseline and reverses it home. Mitch Richmond, who has 21.
That's good defense by Steve Johnson.
Warriors by 6. Hardaway with a nifty feed to a running Johnson. And Steve Johnson in condition for only his second game in a Warriors uniform.
Well, if he's not in condition, he will be after this night.
True. T.R. Dunn lets fly. Nothing but net. And it is now 93-87. 9:40 left in the third. Warriors up. And we go end to end. Richmond with the offensive foul does not agree with Woody Mayfield's call. That's his third.
If you're a little man going at a big man, you got the advantage. You should be able to, with your athleticism, quickness, just move a little to the side and get by the big guy. Blair's not even getting off the ground. He should simply glide right by to the hoop.
Woolridge, who had 24 in 19 minutes in the first half, called for the charge. His third personal foul.
Steve Johnson, excellent job of getting position, also feinting that he was in position.
Boy, Johnson has really looked impressive. Nice pass into Richmond. It hangs. Todd Lichty. This is Michael Adams. Back to Lichty. The pull-up. Not there, and Tom Tolbert in position for the rebound.
What's going to happen now? Rasmussen's still back.
Hardaway, and the foul. The fans thought he walked. Fans really up in arms. Michael Adams can't believe it.
Tough to see from that angle, but you see the late whistle by Paul Mahalik. Hardaway gets to the line, but you know something, a big thing in the sequence right now as Paul Westhead looks on, he's in disbelief about the call. Rasmussen, not an intimidator, and yet he's been very effective at denying the basket early moments second half.
Again, Jim, we'd like to apologize for the technical difficulties we're experiencing. We're having a pretty heavy snowstorm here in the Denver area, so that could be part of the problem. By the way, Alton Lister is all right. Don Nelson just opting to start Steve Johnson, and seems to be paying off here. Hardaway gets 1 out of 2, has 18 points, and it's 94-87 Warriors. Near steal by Hardaway and Tolbert. Rasmussen gets his own rebound and then loses to Marciulionis. Tolbert busting through a little too strong, and Mullen kept it alive. It was tipped free by Dunn. Adams recaptured by Hardaway.
That was a good read.
Really well diagnosed, and Hardaway just marches it down and kisses it off the glass.
You know the difference between him, Tolbert before, Richmond before that, under control.
And Todd Lichty under control from the deep corner. Would have taken him about 3 seconds to get that shot off. A 7-point Warriors lead. Mullen uncontested at the foul line.
Yeah, see, Hardaway didn't push it up. He's taking a breather, so they give it right back to Mullen. He's the point forward. I think he can get that shot anytime. There's a foul on Steve Johnson.
And on the continuation, it will count. 26 for Woolridge. And Steve Johnson, the guilty party.
Now here's a little bit of fatigue too. Watch Steve Johnson. You see, when you don't move your feet and the first line of defense is your arm reaching out, you don't have a prayer.
Woolridge 10 for 13 from the line, has 26 points.
Yeah, he wound up with 24 at the half.
In 19 minutes. 98-92 Warriors. Mullen. Joe Wolf taps it over to T.R. Dunn. This is Avery Johnson, who just slipped in. Unnoticed. Lichty in the crowd. Stolen by Hardaway. Up ahead of the field to Mullen. And two more for Chris Mullen. And that took out our cameraman. Brother.
Yeah, Joe Wolf didn't get to Chris Mullen, but one of our people did.
Here's Avery Johnson across the lane with a sweeping hook plus the foul. Hope that cameraman put in for hazard pay. Avery Johnson with an impressive move.
Yeah, little stutter step, gets back to the middle. Now watch Hardaway ride him with the body. Trying to get as thin as he can right there, but he kept moving, and not a lot of contact, Steve, but gets the call.
That's two on Hardaway. A three-point play for Johnson. 195 Warriors. 7:22 left in the third. Warriors hitting the 100-point plateau early in the third. There's a turnover by Rod Higgins as he palmed the ball.
When you get this kind of pressure defense, you do things that you ordinarily would not do. You're worried about what's coming, you're looking around, and you lose control of the ball.
Oh, you're rushing. And that causes chaos. And that's part of the objective of Paul Westhead.
Marciulionis, another steal, and now another pinball.
Yes. Lichty down to Davis with a head fake and a little shake and bake. 18 for Walter Davis.
You got to come out on the outside shot because he's so deadly, and yet he shows he can still take it to the hole.
Super look by Mullen to Marciulionis. And Marciulionis scores his first field goal of the ball game. 102-97 Golden State. Johnson. And he drew the foul. And a timeout. With 6:41 to go in the third, Warriors 102 and the Nuggets 97. Well, tonight, Bay Area Lucky Stores and Tim Hardaway team up to assist Bay Area literacy programs. For every assist Tim Hardaway makes tonight, Lucky's will donate $50 to Baylit, a group of library literacy programs serving over 5,000 adult literacy students.
Oh, they're going to get $550 already. Steve, he's got 11 assists.
His high is 19. Let's go to Steve Fezziok.
Steve Albert, Don Nelson was talking with Sarunas Marciulionis, and he looked him straight in the face during the huddle break, and he said, forget about the offensive rebound, get back on defense. And Jim Barnett, you know all about that.
Yeah, you've got to get back with these guys, and you've got to get all five back.
As Don Nelson said in the pregame, the key tonight will be defense as Hardaway connects. He has 22 points. 104-98 Warriors, 6:25 remaining in the third. Avery Johnson hearing the whistle and flinging. That is a big-time move by the third-year player out of Southern.
Yeah, Johnson gets to the line once again, second time in the last minute. Put up an air ball on his first free throw attempt, Steve.
Right.
Doesn't often happen in the NBA.
There's a lot of breezes here tonight, and we're liable to catch pneumonia from the breeze that is going by this table. Unbelievable pace to this ball game. Well, that time Johnson at least getting closer, but
and further
coming up short. 104-98 Warriors by 6. Warriors have led most of the way. Here's Tim Hardaway in deliberate fashion. Marciulionis with Walter Davis, and Mullen lets fly. Oh, is he on fire? 24 points for Chris Mullen.
He didn't like the looks when he released, but his little body English kept moving to the right. Got it to go down.
He's 10 for 13 from the field. Davis can't connect. Wolf gets a hand on it. Underneath, Lichty. Good fling to Davis. 2. 20 for Walter Davis. Michael Jordan was willing to give up part of his salary to get him on the Bulls, but he decided to stay here. Good follow by Richmond off the great slice by Hardaway. 23 for Richmond. 108 to 100 Warriors. Lichty goes baseline and bumps into Lister, who goes flying, but the call is on Alton Lister. That's his third.
A lot of contact, but a pretty good call because Lichty put on the brakes with both feet. So he stops on a dime. That's why he gets the call. Lister was still moving in. Lichty to the line.
Did not have the position, sending Lichty to the line for the first time. A 75% shooter last year.
See the difference between Richmond a couple times with offensive fouls tonight. He was continuing all the way to the basket. Lichty stopped, got under control, gets the call.
And a collision between Mullen and Wolf. And both go flying, but both get up. And Mullen hobbling just a bit. He hurt his ankle in the first period. But he still is having quite a night with 24. Warriors by 6. It'll be Warrior basketball. Nelson ushering Johnson into the ball game momentarily.
Yeah, Hardaway wants the big man.
And Bernie Fryer blows the whistle.
You know, it's a mismatch, Steve, when you get a big guy being defended by a little guy underneath. But conversely, at the other end, when you can isolate on the outside of the floor with a little man, a big man has no chance.
That's number 5 on Joe Wolf. Mullen fronted by Rasmussen. And Johnson was being held off by Lane. And Lane can't believe the call. That's his third.
That's a nice hold of position by Steve Johnson. There you see him fighting. Once again, here it comes.
Mullen uncorks. A rare miss on the night. Plucked out of the air by Lane. And here's Michael Adams. Little stutter step move. Rasmussen. Right through the wickets of Woolridge, but recovered by Lane. A look away to Adams for 3. Now he's 1 for 8 from three-point country. Great hands by Mullen, and Marshall Otis comes out of the pack, but a grab and a whistle on Jerome Lane. And again he protests. He doth protest too much, which is something that Westhead could relate to.
Well, he certainly grabs Marshall Otis. Here you see a lot of contact. And watch the speedster Marshall Otis just say, hey, I'm going to get this ball finally. The whistle was right in the tangle with Mullen, Jerome Lane, and Westhead now is down on one knee.
Was that Shakespeare? I'm not sure. He doth protest. I think I'm making things up as I go along.
Well, he's
an expert.
Yeah, he's an expert.
We'll go over and ask. I don't think he'll mind discussing some Shakespeare in the middle of the game. 109-102 Warriors, 4:50 to go in the third. Steve Albert, Jim Barnett, and Steve Physiok in Denver on a snowy night. Adams with his second three-pointer.
You know, a guy shooting a three-pointer is so much more effective if the ball goes in and then comes back out, because then your body's going right to the basket and a lot more space.
And a little flick by Hardaway. 24 for Hardaway, and he's now tied for Warrior honors with Chris Mullen with 24. 111-105 Warriors. 4:20 to go in the third. Lane wide open.
This kind of game, a guy could end up with 35 and still not be the leading scorer.
Yeah. 111-107 Warriors. Hardaway rejected by Rasmussen into the crowd. Kevin Pritchard, the second-round pick out of Kansas, is coming back into the game for the Warriors, and Tim Hardaway, looking sharp, sits down with 24. And Walter Davis yanks it down. Here's Adams.
Mullen doesn't miss too many open shots.
Mullen is now 10 for 15 from the floor. The Warriors by 4. The crossover by Woolridge. This is Adams for 2. Well, that is a strange shot. Pritchard all the way at the other end. The pull-up won't go. Woolridge zips it ahead to Davis. One man to beat, and Johnson, who nearly stripped him of the ball. And the foul's on Davis. Oh, what a play by Steve Johnson to create that problem for the Nuggets.
Yeah, good call, Steve. Came right out and challenged the shot by Davis, made him put it on the floor, but recovered very nicely. Here you're going to see Steve Johnson sticks the hand out, and the scramble for the ball just gets run into by Walter Davis.
The Warriors very active on defense, and they are really doing the job. And Rod Higgins reporting back in for the Warriors.
You might make a point at this time as Don Nelson talks with Kevin Pritchard. Probably one player tonight who's having trouble finding the range and finding the rim is Kevin Pritchard. He is uncharacteristically not shooting the ball very well, but that's understandable. When you're in your first NBA game, you're extremely nervous. Here, just a week ago, he said, I hope I make the team. And yet he was a sure thing because of the way he was playing, but it takes a while to build that confidence.
The fans will be very excited about Kevin Pritchard as the year unfolds. Very hard-nosed, strong, really knows how to draw the foul.
You know, first of all, the college game is so much slower than the pro game, and now all of a sudden you're thrown in the first game in a frenzy like this.
Woolridge. Little duck-in move, and Orlando Woolridge now with 29. 112-109, Warriors 3:10 to go in the third. Marciulionis gets a little space. The trailer was Johnson, throws up a wild shot. Battle for the rebound. Higgins volleyballs it into the air. Here's Gaines. On the wing to Davis. And the fast break by Denver paying off. 22 for Davis. Don Nelson not happy. Wants to talk things over with 2:53 remaining in the third. It's the Warriors 112. The Nuggets 111. The Warriors by just one. 2:53 remaining in the third. There are your rebounds for the quarter. Last year the Warriors led the league in scoring at 116, but they were out rebounded 10 per game. And Marciulionis is called for the treble.
That rebounding trend continues in this game. And again, I emphasize the point, it's because you're always chasing. You're out of position. You're reaching. You're scrambling. They have a better chance just to slice to the hoop, pick up the garbage.
Marcus Liberty, the rookie from Illinois, lost the ball. Good defense by Richmond. The high step dribble. He guns it over to Pritchard, and he connects. Kevin Pritchard with the soft touch from the side, and the Warriors by 3. Corey Gaines, who spent 1 year under Westhead at Loyola Marymount, the first 3 at UCLA. There's a turnaround by Rasmussen. All hands, Rasmussen. Way off. Walter Davis. Good work by Davis. 24 for Davis.
He's a blue chipper.
114 to 113, the Warriors. And look who got the rebound. Davis playing both ends. Gaines sets up. And the push off by Steve Johnson. Let's go to Steve Fisiak. Steve.
Well, Mr. Albert Nelly really trying to keep the team fresh before the fourth quarter. Tim Hardaway has had to work so hard breaking the press and getting back on defense that he was exhausted as he came to the bench the last time. That's why Kevin Pritchard came in despite the Warriors leading by just 4 at the time. But he's still concerned about taking care of the basketball against the Denver defense. I didn't think they played defense, but apparently they do.
Well, Steve, they play defense, but in a very different fashion than the norm. Not the way it was diagrammed by James Naismith.
Yes, what would Mr. Naismith think if he saw this? Unreal. Woolridge able to hit both. Has 31 points to lead all scorers. And the Nuggets by 1. 1:40 remaining in the third. Higgins just diving through. Rod Higgins. And down goes Gaines hard. And a foul on the Warriors. Tim Hardaway is coming right back in.
Here's one of the fastest plays tonight. Even Marciulionis could not get position on Corey Gaines. There you saw him enter your picture from the side. That's why they call it a blocking foul.
Gaines, one of the last cuts by Doug Moe last year.
I think he knew somebody on the inside this year. What do you think?
Get the feeling. He and Paul Westhead. He really has the advantage, having played for Westhead at least 1 year at Loyola Marymount.
Yeah, Corey Gaines out of that great program at St. Bernard's High in Los Angeles. Originally opted for UCLA, I believe.
And he became very close with the late Hank Gathers. The Nuggets by 1. And Paul Mahalik blows the whistle. It's on Denver. Blair Rasmussen is hit with his 4th.
Well, you finally get a guy going to the basket who's big enough to go right up to the outstretched arms of Blair Rasmussen. Higgins took it very strong. Didn't even hesitate, didn't even flinch. He's to the line for 2. Rasmussen now 5 fouls and still in the game.
Let me correct myself. Yes, number 5 on Rasmussen. Higgins hitting double figures. Rod Higgins, 9th year out of Fresno State, off his 2nd best campaign scoring wise. 118-117 is a seesaw back and forth. 1:20 and counting in the 3rd. Well, Hardaway, well timed. Here's Woolridge. Woolridge has 33.
Yeah, when you got it going, even a non-shooter puts out the 21-footer.
And the Nuggets recapture the lead. 1 minute left in the 3rd. Good ball movement by the Warriors, and that's Chris Mullin once again. What a night for Chris Mullin.
He's just one of the great shooters in the game today, Steve.
26 points from Mullin, 11 for 16 from the field, and the Warriors by 1. 40 seconds and counting in the 3rd. Lichty for 3. And 9 points for Lichty out of Stanford, and it's 122-120 Nuggets. 30 seconds in the 3rd. Oh, brother! Hardaway hits for 3. And the Warriors by 1. As we just continue to go end to end. Tim and I got measured for neck braces before the game. We might put them to use. Here's Rod Higgins. 123-122 Warriors looking for the last shot in the 3rd.
Hardaway's taking his time, not because of the clock, but he's just tired.
2 seconds. The dish Hill. And with a 1/10 of a second on the clock, Tyrone Hill on a great pass from Tim Hardaway. That's the end of the 3rd. The score, Warriors 125, Nuggets 122. Getting ready for the 4th quarter. The Warriors by 3. Let's go to Steve Physiak.
Steve, I just stuck my head into Paul Westhead's huddle, and he told his team, you're at the time of the game where you really got to work on defense. Collapse on the ball, make Tim Hardaway give it up.
Well, thank you, Steve. And on cue, Denver able to pick it off. Just underway in the 4th. Woolridge with the rare miss. He has 33 tonight.
Yeah, the Warriors just ran a perfect football pattern. All the players were over half court. Mullin took off on a sprint, and he got the pass from inline to inline.
And now the Warriors come up with it. Mullin to Pritchard. And it's 129-122. We'll hit you with some startling numbers in just a moment. Something that the Warriors are headed towards. Some high water marks. Woolridge is shown. The Warriors' team high last year was 150 for one game. Their all-time high for most points in one game, 169. That's the night Wilt scored 162. And as Golden State, the Warriors' all-time high, 155. And it is conceivable that some of those records might fall.
Yeah, when Wilt scored 100, and that was in 1962, wasn't it?
It sure was.
28 for 32 from the line, and Warriors executive Al Attles, a perfect 8 for 8 from the field. I know, Al, you'll like me remembering that. 1 for 1 from the line. He finished with 17 that night.
You've got it down.
That's easy to remember.
The score was 169 for the Warriors, 147 for the New York Knicks. Hershey, PA.
Home of the chocolate factory.
You go into that town, it smells great. 129-123, the Warriors. Hardaway with a tough pass to handle, very low. And another turnover against Golden State.
You know, it's real low when it hits Hardaway at the ankles.
Rasmussen. Now here's T.R. Dunn off the cut. Lichty. This is the rare half-court look by the Nuggets. You don't see it too often. 7 on the shot clock. Lichty. Nice move to get away from Hardaway with 2 on the timer. 11 for Lichty. 129-125 Warriors. Another neat pass by Hardaway. He's got 14 assists, and Hill the recipient. 131-125 Warriors. And Tyrone Hill, who was a relentless rebounder in college, just lost the handle. Let's see now. In the revolving door, Orlando Woolridge will sit down with 34 points.
Tolbert comes back in after a long absence on the court.
Walter Davis checks back in. He has been trouble. And Tolbert guarding Davis. The pass out to Lichty for a bomb. High arcing shot by Todd Lichty, and he is red hot. The ball is gunned down by Mullen. The pull up. And Chris Mullen just continues to devastate.
Well, his eyes just get bigger each time he comes down and gets the ball in the open court. And a big man back, he just pulls up and just says, hey, this is practice.
30 points on 13 for 18 shooting. And a steal by Mullen, playing both ends. The Warriors by 5, 9:50 left in the fourth. Mullen looking for the call, and he got it. Oh, it's Chris Mullen on his game now. Unstoppable. And T.R. Dunn with a reach-in.
You know, Chris is not the fastest guy on the court by a long shot, but this is his type of game, too, because he knows how to get to the open spots on the floor. He knows how to cheat. And so he gets down there, he gets opportunity shots, and he's such a pure shooter.
He is really so deceptive. 30 points. 13 for 18 from the floor, 4 for 4 from the line, has 5 rebounds. And that's his first miss from the free throw line.
You know, Steve, in this type of game, I think even you or I could go out there and get a bucket tonight.
Well, let's not get carried away. Well, Ahmad Rashad did it for the Sixers in the preseason. So.
I think someone would, they might lose us for a minute.
Break out the oxygen. 134-128 Warriors. Davis with the quick move.
Yeah, Mullen did not go for the pass fake.
And very impressive rebound there by Pritchard in the crowd. He has the best vertical leap on the team, 39-inch vertical leap. Pritchard couldn't gun it down there in a loose ball foul. And it's on Lane. That's number 5 on Jerome Lane. Third-year player out of Pitt. Excellent rebounder, tremendous timing, but not this time.
Higgins, nice position inside. Actually, Pritchard had a chance to slip it to him for a possible layup, but he continued with the shot, but it gave a nice...
Oh, brother Jim, what a pass by Mullen.
That's just good communication. Hardaway, Mullen.
And it was started by Pritchard. Here's Davis, who's open. Feathery touch by 36-year-old Walter Davis, has 26 points. 136 to 130, the Warriors. 3 minutes gone by in the fourth. Another great pass by Hardaway up the penetration. Higgins there.
He does it both ways with the assist. And Hardaway already has his new career high. It was 28 points with that basket, that give and go. It gave him 29.
Tremendous all-around night for Hardaway. 8:54 left in the fourth. 138-130 Warriors. A career high 29 points for Tim Hardaway. He's closing in on his career high assists too, which is 19. He has 14. Woolridge leading the way for Denver with 34.7 rebounds as Corey Gaines fills it up.
All right, how's your math, Steve? Now Hardaway 14 assists. What's that correlate to the Baylit literacy program?
I broke out the calculator. That translates to $700. Very nice.
Yep. Everybody wins.
138-132 Warriors. 8.5 minutes remaining in the fourth. Hardaway with the bomb. Here's Gaines. And threw it away. So back comes Golden State with a 6-point lead. And away from the ball, Pritchard got hammered, but they're calling it on Kevin Pritchard.
I think what he was trying to do was set a brush screen through the lane. Now, he came out on the short end of it as far as contact, but he was the one that initiated it with an illegal pick.
And Mitch Richmond will come in for Kevin Pritchard, who goes out shaking his head. 6 points and 3 fouls. Lane looking for help, finds Joe Wolf, who just cleared Tolbert away. No call.
Didn't get a lot of playing time in LA as much as he'd like. Now there's a turnover that you just don't want to happen. And you know how to alleviate that, Steve? If there's a guy open on the other side of the court, you can run the baseline. After a basket, you can create the angle as the passer.
A lapse there by Tom Tolbert creating the turnover. The Warriors by 4. Wolf in too hard. Here comes Rod Higgins, able to control that tough pass. Here's Richmond now. Tim Hardaway having a career night. Deals it off. Tolbert. Tom Tolbert with the touch this evening. He has 16 points. And Tolbert is 7 for 13 from the floor. 140-134. Warriors up 6. 7:25. Gaines from 3. Into the hands of Rod Higgins. This starts the break for the Warriors. Hardaway dishes to Richmond with the big step.
Used his strength to get the position he wanted on Lichty.
25 for Richmond. And Lane is shoved by Tolbert. Number 3 on the 6'7" Tom Tolbert out of Arizona. Marciulionis is back. Tolbert goes out. Gets a nice tap from Don Nelson. That's number 4 on Tolbert. And to the line will be Jerome Lane. Lane 0 for 2 from the line, has 8 points. Fans with a sarcastic cheer. Lane not known as a good foul shooter. And he's able to hit both. 142-136 Warriors. Hardaway with the crossover. Rejected by Rasmussen. Here comes Gaines exploding into the front court on the wing to Lichty. And the foul. What a fast break up the rejection by Rasmussen. That just triggered it, and they were off and running.
And finally, they get a reaction out of the fans. The Denver Nuggets do. It's been very quiet in here tonight. That's the most raucous they have been. Rasmussen just stuffs Hardaway. And at the other end, Corey Gaines with a nice pass back to Lichty. And Lichty, one of his best assets, Steve, is taking the ball to the basket. Great leaping ability.
Able to roll in the free throw off the pressure on the inbounds. Lane steals, and then he is tied up by Higgins. So a good spurt here by the Nuggets, and they're within 3.
This is a very bizarre play. It looked as if Mullen was trying to hand the ball back to Rod Higgins. I can't believe he would do that because they were going in opposite directions. It was one of those things. All you have to do is catch the ball.
That's the kind of night it's been. It's been chaotic. Number 5 on Higgins, and Jerome Lane to the line, 2 for 4. Let's go to Steve Fizia.
Steve, Don Nelson was applauding his team during the last time out for their help out on defense when Denver got the ball in the low post. I told you in the second quarter, Warriors had 10 turnovers to the Nuggets 1. Well, Golden State has 19 turnovers now, but they forced Denver into 15. They've made 3 in the last 1 minute, though. Joe Wolf and Tom Tolbert really banging down low. Nelly talked about grunting in preseason to get fouls. Well, Tolbert is doing some major league grunting down in that low block.
Mullen. Yeah, they were making people do laps if they didn't grunt. And Chris Mullen has 33. So now it's 144-141 Warriors with 6.5 remaining. Richmond, great square up, but he couldn't connect. Rasmussen maintains control. Here's Gaines blowing by people. Good defense by Tolbert. And Gaines takes a hard spill.
And a good read by Hardaway to go to the basket to get the rebound.
Richmond ran into some traffic. Well, this is like calling a hockey game. Unbelievable.
You've got a few of those.
Yes,
you feel right at home.
Used to it. Blair Rasmussen questions that call, and that's number 6. He's gone. 10 points for Blair Rasmussen, but he is history.
Yeah, and a nice job on the boards for Blair Rasmussen. He's one of the reasons I think that the Denver Nuggets have stayed in there. There you see the little move-in blocking foul by Rasmussen, but he finishes with 12 rebounds and 7 blocked shots, so he did his job tonight, Steve.
But he will not play the final 6 minutes and 14 seconds, and of course, there's always a chance of OT.
Yeah, he was questioning and saying recalculate, but nonetheless, he is down with 6. Nice kid, Blair Rasmussen.
6th year out of Oregon. Well, no wonder he's from Oregon, right?
And he got that big contract, you know. I said, are you going to buy your parents a house? He said, no, they won't let me do it.
Well, that ultimately cost a couple of guys their GM jobs there in Denver. What a mess that turned out to be. Hardaway fires to Mullen in a crowd. Hardaway sets up. And he lost the ball. Jerome Lane down to Woolridge. Won't go. Would have counted on the continuation. He got hit by Richmond. And that is number 4 on Mitch Richmond.
Here's the Hardaway. Just bounce the ball off your foot. I've done that before. It's a little embarrassing. And Richmond just had no prayer against Woolridge coming down in the open court. Couldn't get position. And very fortunate are the Warriors that Woolridge didn't get the basket.
He's 14 for 18 from the line. High man of the game now, 37.
The one thing about Orlando Woolridge, not what you call your real great team player. But in this offensive scheme, it doesn't matter. You can be as selfish as you want. Just run up and down the court and say, I'm open. Give me the ball. I'm going to shoot every time. That's what they want him to do.
This system may be tailor-made for number 0. 1 out of 2 has 37. The Warriors by just 2. 5:50 to go. Mullen for 3. Long rebound taken by Davis. Gaines with the shovel to Lane, and Richmond came across and broke it up. They're calling it on Hardaway.
I'll tell you where the play broke down at half court, though. Mullen tries to go for a steal. Right here. Both Mullen and Hardaway. You see, and all of a sudden you have no protection, no line of defense. Richmond has to cover.
And Kevin Pritchard is right back on the scene, replacing Marciulionis.
By the way, that's great work in the truck, not to get the end of the play, but where it really happened, back up court. Nice job, guys.
Everybody has to be alert in a game with this kind of pace. Corey Gaines flies off the court. Avery Johnson comes back. Lane willing that one in. 144, 143. Warriors by 1. 5:40 on the clock. Tom Tolbert gets inside using his muscle. 18 for Tolbert. And the Warriors by 3.
You know, you look at Hardaway, and I can't overemphasize, nice steal by Mullen, but Hardaway has got to play both ends of the court so much. He's in, control of the basketball. He's got to be exhausted.
What a rebound by Mitch Richmond to keep it alive. He rebounded his own miss and able to slither in for the bucket. And Mitch Richmond now with 27. Mullen with 33, Hardaway with 29. What a balanced attack, and Mullen plucks it out of the air. The Warriors by 5. Mullen doing it at both ends, just beautifully. Underneath, he got the rebound, and he gets the bucket plus the foul. Mullen has 35.
Very adept at getting to the open space, and Richmond very adept at getting to the open space. Tremendous rebound going up over bigger people. Just leaves the Nuggets nailed to the floor. Follows up the shot for a 2.
And Chris Mullen will go to the line. 5 for 6. Comes up short. The Warriors by 7. 4:35 remaining in the 4th. The trailer Wolf.
I was going to say 7 is not a big lead in this game.
Davis, the rainmaker by Walter Davis, and what a night he's having. 28. There's your story. Golden State by 5, 4:18 and counting. Tolbert having a scintillating night. A fadeaway by Mullen going glass, and back come the Nuggets. What's the call? The basket won't count. The basket won't count, but the foul is on Marciulionis.
Interesting call, because they call the foul on Marciulionis, but Walter Davis is denied the basket. The question is, does he put it on the floor one more time after the contact? I can't believe that Mahalik did not give continuation. What about you, Steve?
Well, that is a, first of all, spectacular shot by Walter Davis, and I'm surprised myself that they didn't count the basket for Davis. Meanwhile, Marciulionis just fouled out with 9 points. So Marciulionis is gone. The Warriors by 5.
And they get a break right there, because in retrospect, I think it should have counted. He never went back to the dribble.
4:05 remaining in the fourth. The Warriors 150, the Nuggets 145.
What a great angle coming right at us,
Like
Steve.
a goaltender, he cut off the angle.
Yeah, going right to the boards. Watch it. Watch the two. Watch Hardaway come with the contact. Whoops. Reminds you of the Garden.
They would have helped them back. Warriors ball. They're up 3 with 3:42. Here's Higgins down. A whistle on Woolridge.
Good call from the sideline. Isolate Rod Higgins with Woolridge. Not a great defender.
And that is number 6 on Orlando Woolridge, who fouls out with 37 points. Gets a nice round of applause, but he is gone.
It's got to be a lift. There's a guy that's done the most damage. Get him off the floor one way or the other.
Woolridge takes a seat at the end of the bench.
You see the nice isolation, so Higgins has the whole right side to work with. And Woolridge just doesn't move the feet. Rod had a nice chance to complete the basket and then go to the line, but right now he has to settle for 2 free throws. Tolbert out.
Rod Higgins at the line. Woolridge is the 3rd player to foul out of this game. .14 for Rod Higgins off the bench. And the Warriors breaking the franchise record for most points against the Denver Nuggets.
You can take all these records, Steve, and throw them out if the Warriors don't come up with a win. Nelson doesn't care about the records. He wants
a
1-0.
That won't count either. Again, it's Walter Davis. Mitch Richmond got a hand in. Yeah, that's what he wanted to bring out on the pregame show. Don Nelson's notebook. You can forget all these high numbers and records, and he just wants a W.
And you're talking about fouls. Richmond now in trouble with 5 of his own, and I don't know what the record is for fouls, but they had cumulative between these two teams 58 at the end of the 3rd quarter.
All I know is I'm looking over at our stat man, Tom Collins, and he looks like the kid in The Exorcist. The head's just spinning around. 1 out of 2 for Davis. This is a stat man's nightmare, ladies and gentlemen. Warriors by 4, 3:20 to go. Richmond lowers the shoulder. Oh, brother, no call on the play. They wanted a foul on Dunn. Here's Lichty. And what a big play there and sequence for the Nuggets. No foul was called at the other end, and then Lichty hit. 18 for Lichty, who has really come alive in the second half. Warriors by just 2, 3 minutes remaining. Richmond. Throw it into traffic, and Mullen has it. He goes glass now. Joe Wolf yanks it down. This is Gaines. Deflected out of bounds by Hardaway. Ooh. What a pace. It just doesn't end. This is amazing. They're going 48 minutes at this tempo. Thanks to this guy. Gaines with Hardaway. Hardaway just leaning on him. Davis. Tie ball game. 33 for Davis. Tied at 152. Mullen rejected Lichty, and Mullen has it, plus the foul. Oh, what fortitude by Chris Mullen.
What reaction. He gets denied on the right side, gets the shot blocked, but he stays with the play. Watch this. There's Wolf. Now there's Lichty. Lichty blocks it. Right back to Mullen. Stays with the play, gets the basket and the foul.
Mullen, now the high man of the game as he hits the three-point play, has 38. Woolridge fouled out with 37.
Big play, Steve, at this juncture.
Warriors have 155, the Nuggets 152. 2:18 remaining. Warriors have led most of the way, but it's been tight. Pretty spin move by Gaines. Dishes off Lichty for 3. Won't go. Here's Gaines. As the Nuggets get a break. A new 24. Dunn with the stutter.
Interesting, Nelson still going with Pritchard, the rookie. Davis beat him at the same spot a moment ago. Now he gets beat by T.R. Dunn.
Warriors by 1. Pritchard deals it off Richmond. In deep, and the foul's on Denver, and the fans can't believe it. And Joe Wolf is beside himself. And if I'm not mistaken, that's 6 on him.
Looks like a tough call because I thought Richmond got snookered underneath the basket. Pritchard goes up in the air, luckily finds Richmond. Now watch what happens here. A little bit of contact, but Richmond really had the reverse side. He chose to go back into Wolf. Wolf does not like the call. Nonetheless, Richmond has 2.
And they're trying to get Wolf out. He is fouled out. He becomes the 4th player tonight to do so. He still can't believe it, so he's taking his time. They've got to get another body in there, and it looks like it's going to be Anthony Cook, the rookie from Arizona.
And if you're a player out there on the court, you like him to take your time. Gives you a chance to get a breather with 1:48 left. Have you noticed Hardaway is not going to the basket as much? He has opportunities. He just cannot string it out continually like that. You've got to hold back once in a while.
Well, this is one of those nights where you just reach back, try to get that second win for the final moments.
But to give Nelson and his troops credit, are they in shape? We're talking about Mile High City at this pace, and they're staying right with it. So these guys have been prepared. Hard work.
Really is incredible. The season opener against the frenetic offense of Paul Westhead. The Warriors by 3, a minute 37 remaining. Todd Lichty has had a super second half. Davis has just had a super game. One hands it over to Gaines. Great fake on Mullen. Got it. Outstanding maneuver by Corey Gaines, who's been a factor here. The Warriors by 1, a minute 20. Nearly stolen by Dunn, deflected out by T.R. Dunn. A minute 18 on the clock, and Don Nelson.
Tough place to take it inbound, Steve. They spread it nicely.
Nelson going wild on the sideline, orchestrating. Really in animated fashion right now. Here's Hardaway. He wanted somebody to cut just now. 8 on the shot clock. Hardaway with a crossover. Hardaway got it. Oh, what a basket by Tim Hardaway.
You talk about digging deep.
31 for Hardaway. Dunn comes right back for the Nuggets. T.R. Dunn.
And he's an unlikely offensive hero.
Known for his defense, T.R. Dunn able to connect from outside, and it's 159-158 Warriors with 59.4 seconds remaining.
Now Rod has to remember he can run the baseline to create an angle. Didn't have to.
The gallant Tim Hardaway is fouled. And it's on Dunn. What a finish.
Yeah, what a start and what a finish.
And what a middle, not bad either.
Yeah, not a bad middle. But this game has us all wrung out. And a lot can happen in 57.3 seconds. Ooh. I was going to say a few moments ago that if you stay in the 150s, it doesn't win the game. Hardaway now has a chance to give the Warriors a 3-point lead, 161-158, if he converts.
The previous all-time Golden State high was 155. Their franchise high is 169. Paul Westhead signaling for a timeout after this, if possible. The Warriors by 1. Hardaway hits the 160 plateau for the Warriors, and Westhead does indeed call a timeout. 1 out of 2 at the line for Hardaway. What a night he's having. 57 and 3/10 seconds on the clock. The Warriors by 2.
Steve Physiak, Steve Albert, and Jim Barnett at McNichols Arena in Denver. Warriors lead by 2, 160-158. And Paul Westhead has Corey Gaines in the game during crunch time. Gaines rarely played in his journeyman NBA career, but he played for Westhead at Loyola Marymount and knows the Westhead system. When Denver calls timeout, Westhead does a lot of talking and directing his conversation to Corey Gaines, Steve Albert.
And Steve, Corey Gaines is sharp because I happen to follow his summer when he was playing in the World Basketball League for the Calgary team. That's that 6'5" and under league. So he remains very comfortable and very sharp, and that could be another reason why Mr. Westhead is going with him. Budweiser, the king of beers, reminds you it makes good sense to drink responsibly. Know when to say when. Warriors leading at 160-158, 55 seconds and counting in the fourth.
And we can say when in 50 seconds.
Here we go.
Maybe.
Possibly. Here's Anthony Cook.
Possible OT.
Todd Lichty with Pritchard all over him. Lichty, tough shot. It'll be Denver ball. Last touch by Higgins. A lot of action out of the boards. Very active. A new 24. Warriors by 2. Here's Gaines setting it up. And they really are relying heavily on the quarterbacking skills of Gaines.
They need to get a quick shot so that they can get 2 for 1. They're winding down the clock. Now the Warriors do not have to score if they hold them this time.
Gaines from straight away. Big rebound here, and Mullen comes out of the pack with the ball.
No shot, just hold the ball. It's your game. You're playing the clock, not Denver.
The Warriors by 2. You see the time remaining, and Higgins is fouled on the play, and the Warriors are in the driver's seat. 9.2 seconds. What a dramatic finish here in Denver in the season opener, and a forlorn Paul Westhead looking on.
But I think he silenced the critics in this opening night, regardless of the outcome.
They were all over Westhead coming in based on the preseason with his newfangled and radical approach. Higgins, perfect from the line.
And as you mentioned, perfect in exhibition. That makes him 31 of 31 thus far.
And the Warriors with a big 4-point lead with 9 2/10 seconds to go, and a lot of applauding and high-fiving going on over at the Don Nelson side.
And it's not over yet, Steve. With 9.2 seconds, they run down. They can throw a 3-pointer at you. They can actually throw a 2-pointer at you and steal the inbounds pass. You've got to play this until the final horn sounds. But what an exciting basketball game, and what perseverance by the Golden State Warriors, and what endurance.
Really hanging in there, and a major factor. Can't emphasize it enough. What a night for Chris Mullen at both ends of the floor.
Yeah, who do you pick? You pick Hardaway, you pick Mullen.
Richmond.
So many great plays. There's the missed shot by Corey Gaines, and a tough, important rebound by Chris Mullen.
In case you were wondering, the high regulation by one team of the NBA in the history of the league, 173 by Boston in 59. And the NBA's all-time high, this is in 3 overtimes, 186 points by Detroit right here at Denver. In 1983, the Warriors have 162. 162 points. Their franchise high is 169 when they were the Philadelphia Warriors. They did it against the Knicks at Hershey, Pennsylvania, March 2nd, 1962, the night Wilt scored 100. We mentioned way back at the top of the broadcast, keep an eye on the field goal attempts tonight. Well, Denver has unleashed 129 shots, which is really astounding. And Golden State, which averaged, if I'm not mistaken, 88 shots per game last year with 109. And shooting well. Is that 58%?
That's 58%, Steve. But in this kind of game, you're going to get a lot of possessions. If you don't turn the ball over, you're going to get a lot of shots. And the Warriors have done a pretty good job. You're gonna mishandle a few.
Warriors by 4. You see the clock. Davis from about 35. Mullen yanks it down, and with 9/10 of a second, they'll jump it up.
Now the game's over. Just not get anywhere.
I think it is safe to say, despite the expression on Chris Mullen's face. 22nd timeout for the Nuggets. Let's see if they can design a 4-point play in 9/10 of a second. This has really been an incredible night.
Yeah, Don Nelson's going to coach it right to the very end, not taking anything for granted with a little less than a second.
Here's a new NBA record right here for regulation. 320 points combined by Denver and Golden State. The old record was 318. Denver versus San Antonio in 1984. And that is it. The Golden State Warriors have won the season opener 162-158 here in Denver. Just an incredible night from start to finish. Amazing. I never thought I would broadcast a game with this many points. And it happens in the season opener. The Golden State Warriors 162, the Denver Nuggets 158.